Welcome back, Generals. This is the Battle of First Winchester in the CSA campaign on Legendary difficulty. Please be aware that Colonel, Brigadier General, and Major General difficulty levels all share an AI profile. Legendary has its own profile. Generally speaking, anything that you see me do in Legendary should also work in the lower difficulty levels. However, due to the aggressiveness of the Legendary AI profile, you may find that the AI on lower levels does not act the same way. Previously, I fought Shiloh for a day 1 win and then for a day 2 win. I'm moving forward with the results from the day 2 win. Shiloh, Second Bull Run, and Antietam are pretty significant milestones in the Confederate campaign, so I'll review the status of my army before jumping into the next 3 side battles leading up to Gaines's Mill. First, let's talk about Corps commanders. If you want to get a Major General as soon as possible in your first Corps, then take Daniel Hill with reputation points and give him your Corps. He will hit Major General at Gaines's Mill. You will find that Hill has more experience than any other officer in your army, more than Johnston, Beauregard, and even your Avatar. On a side note, if my Avatar had remained the Corps commander from the start, he would reach Major General at Malvern Hill, so we're only talking about a difference of 1 battle. How do I know this? Well, because your Corps and division commanders receive a set amount of experience for each battle. Now, each battle is a set different number, but it stays the same from campaign to campaign. Ward has been my Corps commander since Newport News, and he has a melee perk. When I get a Major General, I will select your accuracy perk at Tier 1 and the melee perk at Tier 2. Why that combination and not melee at Tier 1 and accuracy at Tier 2? Well, both combinations will give you 10% accuracy for artillery and 20% accuracy for everything else. You'll also get 25% charge damage. So the difference is whether you find the minus 5% reload or the minus 10% to melee morale damage more valuable. I prefer the reduction to morale damage. For now, I'm going to give Hill and Johnston divisions to command so they can gain experience at the next 3 side battles. Once I get to camp before Gaines's Mill, Hill will take command of one of the 2 corps that I'll deploy. Until then, my 2nd Corps is just going to be sitting in camp. That Corps commander will not gain experience, so I'll drop French into that slot for now. Since officers are added to the academy after grand battles and all historical officers are guaranteed to appear as soon as they become eligible, we have a host of new officers to help when we expand for Gaines's Mill. For historical officers, we have Bragg as a general, then Breckinridge, Rhodes, Ransom, and Wilcox as colonels. Atkinson was a normal officer role. I'm pretty sure he isn't historical. I took Hill with reputation points, but Beauregard and Kershaw are also available. Regarding reputation buys, you guys know that opportunity costs are everywhere in this game. You can't have everything, so what are you willing to give up in order to get the things that you most want? I can only tell you what works for me. My logic flows that better officers boost unit experience. More unit experience means more stars, and more stars means more unit perks. So I prioritize getting the best officers over getting the government weapons caches. I'm probably not going to take any of the weapons here. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't. If you have your heart set on something here, then go for it. The telescopic Whitworth sniper rifles are incredibly tempting. The only downside to the regular Whitworth rifles is there isn't enough of them to outfit an infantry brigade. However, you can get another 750 via rep points after Malvern Hill, giving you a total of 1,500 between them. I don't need the 10-pound Parrots. The 53 Enfields would be nice, but why spend 14 rep points for them here when there's caches of 53 Enfields after Gaines's Mill and Malvern Hill that are only 9 rep points each? After Gaines's Mill, there will be 2 caches of 53 Enfields, plus 10-pound Parrots and ordnance rifles. After Malvern Hill, you can get 53 Enfields, Lamats, another cache of Whitworth rifles, James rifled guns, and 20-pound Parrots. From a purely reputation point cost point of view, the weapons caches after Gaines's Mill and Malvern Hill are going to be some of the lowest of the campaign. Prices are going to start climbing for small arms buys after Second Bull Run, although artillery costs will stay about the same. We received 3 career points from winning Shiloh. I'm putting all 3 into medicine. So I have 6 in medicine, 4 in training, 5 in army organization, 1 in logistics, and 4 in reconnaissance. All 3 points from the upcoming side battles will also go into medicine, so it will be 9 going into Gaines's Mill. I want Army Organization to be at 9 points for Second Bull Run, so I can deploy a 5th Division in the 1st Corps. Therefore, my 4 career points from Malvern Hill, Cedar Mountain, and Manassas Depot will need to be added to AO. That leaves me with the 2 points from Gaines's Mill to put wherever I want, although I'm not entirely sure yet where I'll spend them. To me, the real mitigating factor is how many weapons I have in the armory to field new units. We took 20 to Shiloh. We need a minimum of 25 for Gaines, 40 for Malvern, 45 for Second Bull Run, and then 60 for Antietam. So we will double and then triple the Army's size at a pretty steady pace. With all that in mind, I will assess how many weapons I have in my armory after Gaines's Mill. If I feel like I'm behind on accumulating weapons, I'll put both points into recon to boost weapons recovery. If my armory numbers look good, then I'll probably put the 10th point into medicine and use the other point on something else. I have 19,000 recruits in the pool with an average stat of 18.4. I have 1,472 veterans with average stats of 37.2. Since this is a veteran-focused campaign, let me give you another piece of advice. Obviously, all my veteran stats are over my training cap of 24, so they gain nothing from sitting in camp. We want to keep our soldiers gaining experience, so I recommend you redeploy all your veterans for the next battle. The soldiers in the wounded pool will cycle up to the veteran pool after the next battle. Don't worry about saving them for camp before the next grand battle, before redeploying them. After grand battles, I recommend that you only rebuild the units that you plan to take to the next minor battle because it minimizes AI scaling for the next battle. If you've focused on training, I understand the temptation to start building out the rest of your army to get the training bonus for the units that do not deploy to battle. Just keep in mind that all those extra units are going to increase AI scaling. On BG Plus and lower difficulties, you can probably get away with it easier than on Major General and above. Ward is still my Corps commander. Daniel Hill has the 1st Division. I gave my Avatar's unit a Tier 2 melee perk and brought him up to 1,500 men. I increased Kemper to 1,500 men. I merged Forrest Cavalry into Meyer's unit, which got him his 2nd star. I gave him the Saber Proficiency melee perk. Placing Cabell under Hiller Johnston gave him just enough of an experience boost to get him to 2 stars. I gave him the Counter Battery Rifled Gun perk and replenished his casualties. Albert Sidney Johnson has the 2nd Division. I increased Siegfried to 1,800 men. He is my default melee unit when somebody must charge, so I wanted him to have more men than the others, and he has Harper's Ferries. For Shiloh, I moved Archer out of this cavalry unit in order to form a new 1-star infantry unit. It was all part of moving officers around, so I didn't need to deploy any no-star units. Now I've moved Archer back to this cavalry unit. Paxton had the unit at Shiloh. He's now in the barracks awaiting assignment. I also increased the unit to 700. I increased Ferguson's unit to 578. Elder had 8 12-pound howitzers at Shiloh. I swapped the howitzers for 10 Napoleons. I want all my divisions to deploy, so the division commanders continue to get experience, so divisions 3 and 4 only have 1 unit each. Price has the 4th Division. Preston has 88 unit experience, so I'm concentrating on getting him to the 2nd star. I increased him to 1,500 men. Buckley has the 4th Division. Hobson was moved out of this infantry unit before Shiloh to create a 1-star artillery battery. I've now moved him back into this infantry unit. The unit has 81 experience, so he should get 2 stars within the next 2 battles. French is just keeping the seat warm on the 2nd Corps commander slot. Naylor has the 1st Division. Ewell, Early, and Hurlbut are just as they were after Shiloh. Jackson originally had this unit at Stay Alert, but I needed to use him to form a new 1-star artillery battery for Shiloh, and now I've moved him back here to this infantry brigade. For now, I gave Forrest command of the infantry unit that Archer had at Shiloh before moving Archer back to the cavalry unit. Brune has the 2nd Division. Stewart, Brest, and Mendenhall are all as they were after Shiloh. I gave Crittenden the artillery battery that Hobson took to Shiloh. After moving Jackson back to his infantry brigade, I placed Maxwell here, who had previously been a division officer. The battery had Napoleons at Shiloh, but I moved those over to Elder's battery for this battle, so Maxwell has 12-pound howitzers now. Things could change more for these units in the 2nd Corps before any of them redeploy for battle. Right now, they're all just placeholders as I focus on the units in the 1st Corps going into 1st Winchester. I think this is the first battle that I've actually taken ammo. The AI received a core reinforcement of 32,600 after Shiloh. The AI army size is at the default. Training is 33 to 38%, and its weapons quality is 31 to 36%. The AI will have 16,704 soldiers and 32 guns before unit splits. I have 10,579 soldiers and 20 guns. Breaking it down further, the AI will have 4 infantry brigades, 4 skirmishers, 2 artillery batteries, and 2 cavalry squadrons for a total of 12 units. Assuming 20% unit splits, we should expect to get 2 or 3 additional units for a total of 14 to 15 units. I understand that many players like to veer to the left and go around to approach the town from the south. The battle starts at 0500 hours with poor visibility, allowing enemies to appear on top of you before you can see them. I will engage the skirmishers that are deployed nearby. I will ensure that the AI cavalry doesn't attack me from the rear area. I will set up a defensive line on the upper right corner of the map and ensure that the AI can see me. The AI tends to do a poor job at defending locations. It wants to be on the offensive, so I will rely on the AI to come out to me. Since it only has 4 infantry brigades, not counting splits, it's fairly easy to get the upper hand by eliminating a few of its units early, then eliminate the support units and walk into town. First Winchester is a pretty straightforward battle, so I don't think much commentary is really necessary for it. AI was pretty aggressive coming out to attack. I had 541 killed, 1,430 wounded, and 213 missing. That's 21% of my force here. The AI lost 12,590 troops, or 79% of its force. Myers had nearly 1,500 kills. Both artillery batteries took some damage. Preston and Hobson did some nice fighting. We'll see if either of them made it to 2 stars. Siegfried and Kemper both made it to general. It looks like the AI has upgraded its weapons now. Colts and Burnsides for cavalry, 61 Springfields for infantry. Artillery still using 6-pounders and baby howitzers. Well, Preston got his 2nd star. Hobson has 99 unit experience, so if I move him under Hill or Johnston, that will give him his 2nd. Thank you for spending some of your valuable time watching today. I hope you found something useful for your campaigns, and I wish you much success, Generals.